by tradition.
Hold
And that
tight.
is hold tight the 3-point collectors.
Next thing, Tottenham are whipping boys for Liverpool. You lot ain't beat us in how long? So look at your face. So when I
I'm about to run.
They forget about when the council is going to take the fridge.
Oh, for real? When there was a little car park out front. Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's hold
Liverpool. And as much as we can talk about Mane is a good player, Salah is a good player, they're just not the X factor, bro. Don't forget about it.
Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live in the flesh, live and direct in the flesh. You know what time it is. How we doing, gents? We good?
Hey, we here another week.
Yeah, man.
Is this red for the blood of your enemies, or what's going on here?
So
Because
whoop.
I didn't get the memo.
We got signed up this week. Bloods officials. What was the old hand thing we used to do back in the day?
I used to see that news.
I got arthritis too old nowadays.
We said Fabio's age, mate.
That was the funniest thing.
Go check those locals to get more
Check
information.
those locals.
That's too funny. But without further ado, hold tight the sponsor Manscaped has 20% off STTV. You know what to do. We've already saved a lot of relationships this week. I went on a recruitment drive and pushed out our codes and everything, and there was a lot of redemptions. So remember, listen, winter's coming. Man, them look after yourself. Girl, them look after the man. Them do what you need to do. We actually cut the best promos for Manscaped as well.
Big man thing.
I look at other promos. I'm like,
You're
selling it too hard. You're selling it too hard. Yeah, you're stealing scripts. We don't need no scripts. Manscaped, no. What's this? Ball deodorant. Don't let your ball smell in it. You know them ones there, but obviously STTV, 20% off and
there'll
free.
be man watching this as well. Sitting in their rooms, ball wafting in their face. We're talking
Excuse
to you,
me?
man. Go grab that. Yeah?
Ball what?
Listen, man. Listen, man. People getting too comfortable.
Hey, that one is a bad thing, waffling. But listen, without further ado as well, hold tight the 3-point collectors, whoever you are in the world.
We back in the building.
Hold tight 3-point collectors. Is that sugar?
Yeah, in the calf.
Hold tight the participants, no matter where you are. Hold tight the teams that have got redemption this week. Hold tight the teams that didn't disgrace themselves. And where we're probably going to start off, hold tight the teams that are living up to big game heritage, big game, big players, because that was a very, very, in terms of technical, in terms of players, turning up, in terms of a football game where you're on the edge of your seat as a neutral. It's probably the best game we've seen in a while, so let's get straight into it.
What did they say?
Great. Where do you guys want to start with this? Because there's a few things. We can talk about big players. We can talk about the two teams and where they're both at the moment. To be fair, I probably want to start there because I look at City against Chelsea. Straight, just sort of. I look at City against PSG as well. They didn't come away with the result, but they played well. I think it's fair to say that you have to acknowledge, even though they lost 2-0, they played a really good game. And then look at the first half of this game, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, it looks like something's clicked for these guys now. Like they understand the beast that they are. Like they're coming for blood. And then you get a situation where Liverpool as a team, so far the season's been going, still unbeaten at the end of this result, but they're sort of just doing their thing. I think they've not conceded many goals, well, apart from the Brentford and all that sort of stuff. They haven't conceded. They've been going about their business, and it's not looked exciting, but Salah's scoring goals. As you said, you tweeted quite rightly as well. I think we both tweeted at the same time. Mane is quietly sort of awakening from this slumber.
It's funny, Liverpool fans, if you talk to Liverpool fans, they'll still say he's
name. But I'm saying
there was Liverpool fans in my comments saying he's ass. Ass this season. I'm like, bro.
But it's compared to last year, at least he's still getting the end products. Last year, or parts of last year, it was just like you're playing bad, you're not even helping the team. Salah's doing what Salah's doing, but there was parts of that performance today where it's like maybe we didn't. Well, not everyone, but in my head anyway, maybe the respect that Liverpool should deserve has not been fully put in them. I say that to say this because that tough season they had 6 home defeats, right? So they were in a bad way. And it's like you can't go from being that great to falling off completely and not sort of find yourself back at, somewhere decent.
Yeah.
And I think what this season is 7 games in, but what this season has sort of shown me already is due to their great coaching, because of their coach, and sort of the way he can get things out of those players. Liverpool, as long as Klopp can get what he needs, kind of, they will always be okay. The question is when the players get injured and everything, where do you stay? But Liverpool proved that they're still like a top dog in
serious contenders. And
yeah.
I think even last year though, when the second half of the season, when a lot of their players started coming back, you saw the run they went on. Like they finished third, was it all?
I think if you count last season,
it's like Klopp's ability to squeeze that extra bit of juice out of his players is one of the best things about it. But in that game for me, I think the second half they kind of had to wake up. Because first half, I'm sorry, City came there almost treating Anfield like it was. You'll never walk alone, forget that this is our turf type of thing. So they really had to wake up. And listen, man, I got to say, we got to talk about individual players, bro.
100%.
In this game, I feel like this was a game where some quality really stood out. And Salah, bro, we got to talk on it. Like that goal there for me is I don't know. You could say probably his best goal I've seen.
I think it is
individually dancing through that many men.
Left, right.
The ball roll, the shimmy, and then the finish as well.
When Salah has you pinned, you're finished. It's for his height as well.
A goal like that for me deserves to win a game. So I got to give City credit for having the character to come back twice. But a goal like that for me is, and like I want to ask, Salah's on current form right now. Is he the best player in the world?
In the world,
like who right now is on better form? The way the season has started.
It goes back to a case. Form is relative to the time you're in.
No, but I hear that. But I just want to go back as well to midweek. You were saying on those slogans as well, where you feel like Salah, he's been in his prime, as you say, for the last couple of years. But this year, it's almost like he's peaking at that prime. Like he's almost at apex level. And I'm just looking at Salah this season, and I'm like, yo, is he gonna be? Because before we've always said Liverpool are a system team. Liverpool are, the width and the fullbacks. And I'm like, yo, is this going to be a season where Salah's like, fuck the system, this team on my back type of thing?
This season he's much
seen a little bit of Mane declining.
You know what you're saying about on your back though, yeah? Last year when Liverpool, were back in places, like it's fair to say that Salah was still sort of for the most extent. He was still good and still turning up. So like I get what you're saying about putting back, but I feel like not that other things affect you, but I feel like this is going to footballers' heads in the sense where you've got sort of like a Voldemort coming to the league and sort of being like Voldemort, Ronaldo coming to the league, and it's being like
Voldemort.
You can't name it. You can't say his name. You can't say his name, Voldemort. Someone like that coming to the league, being like, okay, it's my league now. We always talk about Harry Kane, Harry Kane the goal scorer. You've got Grealish, 100 million and everything. Salah, like when we talk about Salah Mane, we always used to say that Salah, it's like Salah always wants to be top guy. It's like, you can't share this both best Africans as one. It's got to be about me. It feels like, again, this is just me personally, like he's taken it upon himself to be like, no, people have to put respect. That even when Salah's had respect in his name, there's always been like, there's not been a time for me that you just talk about Salah, you just give greatness. Yeah. There's always sort of not an allegation. There's always like a stick to beat him with about something. I feel like he's trying to operate a place where it's like you cannot say anything to me. You have to give me all of my hard-earned respect.
Speaking of allegations, X-Factor allegations. Where do we stand currently?
That was a sub-question.
Because that goal was X-Factor.
That was a bro.
That is the definition of X-Factor.
You see, this is now X-Factor. Now, see, people are gonna see that goal and be like, "Ain't that X-Factor?" Well, that is what X-Factor is. And now, can you tell me he's been doing that previously? No, you can't. So this is what I'm talking about, and this is when I talk about Hazards and Neymars. I see these type of goals. I see these type of moments. Forget even his goal. The assist for Mane. That's X Factor. Yeah. Skip past one, skip past two, slide man in, go. All Mane has to do is shoot. That's it. That is X Factor, bro. And this season, he's been, for me, his overall play has been a lot better. I'm not saying in every game it's been like that, but today he showed 2 moments of individual quality. How many times do we see Salah scored 25 goals or whatever? They're whipped in back post by Trent or Robbo, and it's a deflection, it's a bobble, it's a this, it's a that. For me, and I remember, he's a winger. So for me, I'm like, hold on, that's not the wing play I want to see. Yeah. The wing play I want to see is the Neymars, the Hazards, the Mbappes, the maybe Mane previously, not right now. that is what I was calling X Factor. But he's always been a decisive player, devastating player, and no one can lie. On this pod, I'm the one that champions him the most, and I'm the United fan. Yeah, I always champion him. But then now you see that goal,
can I answer your
and
question
that moment,
about
that's top quality.
What you're saying is interesting, but to a certain extent, like you said, he's always decisive, right?
Yeah, always.
He always turns up. It may not look pretty, but he's always decisive. So does it come to a thing of optics then? Because ultimately he's doing what he needs to do.
Do the eye test.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it fair to beat him with a stick if he's still doing what he needs to do?
I didn't beat him with a
No,
stick.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general, because it goes back to the point I was making that for Salah as a player, like I don't recall the time where he's just got his just due, and I get what you're saying in terms of like the way the players you mentioned.
That's because of when
who
you're
he's
talking
being related to.
exactly. That's because when you're talking about the best players in the world, usually the best players in the world have the mix of everything. I'm saying eye test, quality, X factor. They have everything put together. Production. They usually have everything put together that you're just like, all right, cool. So when Salah's being compared to Neymar, when Neymar's in his palm, you're like, come on,
let's look at
that's
Foden
the
now.
reason.
The way he performs, right? Like it's not like.
But he's a striker now.
Yeah, no. I'm just talking.
Striker now. It's a different type.
I hate you.
Wide men, it's different.
So So what you're saying is, it's for this. It's specifically to wide men.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
I can't say anything to that because if you look at
Ronaldo,
Ronaldo's clutchness, it can look so scraggy.
You see, for me, Van Nistelrooy was a fantastic goal scorer. I don't see him as the X factor. Luis Suarez, that's X factor.
I get you.
No,
I get you.
I get where I'm coming from here.
You're saying the eye test definitely has to play a part in it, and that's where Salah's always lacked a little bit. Yeah. But this season, you feel like he's downloaded a new package. Goals like that help your case.
Yes.
So it's like, as long as you're seeing more of this, the X factor's there.
Bro, people
but what we're seeing now is the evolution and shades of the X factor.
Yeah. Now we have to acknowledge consistency. We're seeing tendencies. Yeah. I need consistency.
Man, saying,
then it's cool.
The case is still
but I've always had
XG and XR, you know.
But I've always had, the thing is that even amongst all this X factor rubbish, I've always had Salah as one of the best.
I will say that. As much as you haven't said he hasn't got the X factor, you always said he's one of the greatest Prem players of all time.
And the thing is, even with this X Factor stuff, ain't most of the things when I talk about X Factor, I talk about, this era hasn't got it. Yeah. So it's not even like I'm just like, everyone's got it, but Salah. I say this era hasn't got it. That's all I say.
Question to all of this, so just quickly, is Salah the greatest Liverpool player of all time? I don't know if we've had this discussion before, and if not, what does he need to be to become that? Because I know the case will immediately be Gerrard, but what does he need to do to support?
Do you know what's very difficult? That's hard. It's very hard when
because I think he's the forward. When it comes to the forward case, he's the best forward. Best Liverpool.
Do you know he's the best Liverpool attacker in the modern history?
The reason why it's hard is when you've got someone that's from the soil, it's very hard to get past the centre man what it means. Like it's going to be, he can achieve so much in terms of accolades and everything, can do stuff, but when someone's from the soil and it's like, this is our boy, and the story behind it's like what you say, narrative and story plays so much.
It's not only that though as well, but it's also of what it's hard. It's so hard because hold on. It's hard because when you look at it, right? You look at when Gerrard was being compared to the Grealishes and Rushes and stuff. It was always about like, look at the team Gerrard's playing with. He's getting the most out of this. He's getting the most out of that. And the thing about Gerrard is that, there's going to be times he doesn't get a goal, doesn't get assists, but he's had such a great game. He doesn't. Whereas Salah, I'm not saying he doesn't have that, but most of the time we look at it, it's like his best games are when he scored. His best games. I'm trying to say it's like it's one of those type of things. So when you look at Gerrard, for me, considering what he is playing with, as you said, coming from the youth team, local, considering what he's played with, etc., that's what puts him up there. And you look at Salah, he's got a competitive team. You know what I'm trying to say? He's got competitive. Now, I'm not trying to beat anything, but just say you put Steven Gerrard in where Gini Wijnaldum was playing in the last prime Steven Gerrard, in where Gini Wijnaldum playing in this Klopp team. It's game over.
I hear that.
It's finished. He'll be Ballon. You might even win the Ballon d'Or at that rate.
I feel like the signing of Salah was almost the beginning of that era for Liverpool. I feel like the signing of Salah was almost the beginning of that era. They signed Mane the year before, and it was like, all right, we're getting there.
But do you not think the beginning of the era? Do you not think the beginning of the era? I get you as a player. But do you not think the beginning of the era was Klopp walking through the door?
I get that. No, I agree with that. He's definitely the mastermind behind it. But who is the player that?
Yeah, for me, it's Salah. Some people say Van Dijk.
For me, it's Salah. But for me, it's Salah.
No, it is.
The way he's been able to deliver year in, year out, the numbers he's been able to put up from the wing is ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't know what he has to do to. class as that. I just thought it was an interesting kind of
story. When you speak to Liverpool fans about it, like, it's so funny because I remember when they won the Premier League, right? I remember there was some Liverpool fans. I don't know if they were being serious or not.
30-year drought.
The Henderson talk to the Gerrard.
Hey,
I always knew.
Let's not forget that.
It was going to last.
No, but it was that. No,
you man were lapping up Hendo. I won't forget.
You know what I'm talking about? It was that.
I love me some Hendo, man. I'm not lying.
You know what I'm talking about? It was like, I was like, you guys are just gonna discard Gerrard like this for one Premier League.
Too far.
And then I think they remember this. Hold on, no, I forgot.
Let's not get wrapped up in the moment. Yeah.
I feel like with Salah, where he is, especially at a club like Liverpool, where a lot of it's beyond what football means. You know, you never walk alone. Anything. Even if he wasn't number one, to be in that sort of discussion is enough for someone like that. Because really and truly, that signing shouldn't have gone on to be what it is. Do you get where I'm coming from? I just think it's very difficult to overcome narrative, especially when it's home.
I hear the story will always play.
I do think though we're getting to a point where Salah is getting his respect, and people are saying he's not getting his respect. I do think now everything is about when is Salah going to get respect. Well, us saying that is giving him his respect. I think I'm starting to see a little bit too much of that. I don't really know what people want him to get.
So
listen, I'm sorry, I've got to dig one person out. I was having a discussion with Mr. A1 De Niro, and this brother went and said, Salah may a top 50 player in the Prem. Maybe. I'm actually even put that as down in the week, bro. The road talks.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the other players that game. So
let's not forget about the negatives first.
No, not negative. There's other good players.
Foden,
there's other good players.
Let's talk about Phil Foden because he was excellent.
The subject of today is the big game, big players. It's very difficult in those sort of games. You can go missing, and there's a lot of players that did their part. So go on. What do you want to say?
For me, bro, like it's good to see Foden back because for me, which is very well documented, I think he's the best young player in the country at the moment. Best young player. Well, when we talk about ceilings and stuff, we'll see. But at the moment, for me, he's the best young player in the country. And time again, in my opinion, he proves it. Even before the goal, I don't even think he needed the goal. I think he was excellent all round from what I was seeing. He's somebody again. He passes the eye test. He passes the X factor. Now all he needs to do is improve his production. But last season, 30 goals and assists. I think around 30 goals and assists together. England, all right, it got peak for him. And everyone turned on him. Everyone called him Slim Shady. Everyone called him this. Everyone Gaza. Gaza. Foden had it. But do you know what? Everyone needs that reality check once in a time. Mbappe had it. Cristiano Ronaldo has even had it as a young player. We're about to get into Jack Grealish who's having it. Everyone at some point is going to need that reality check.
That's about how you bounce back.
For me, he's so good. But just before we talk about other individuals, I just want to talk about Liverpool v City. They've given us some of the best high quality games in the league history at some.
Within this era of
for me, if you're talking about from the 2010s, it's the best fixture in the country. It's the best fixture at the moment. Liverpool v City have given us some of the most exciting games in the country. You remember when they won 3-2 and Liverpool believed, you don't fucking scared. Gerrard, with that one, do you remember when Gerrard volleyed it at the, I don't know, maybe before you lost time, but Gerrard volleyed it at the Etihad bottom bins? Do you remember, bro, some of their games? Do you remember when Sane went and won it and John Stones made that last minute clearance? This game, last season when Foden danced around them and smashed it. Bro, Liverpool City, their Champions League fixtures when Salah buried them and Firmino.
Pumped at home as well.
When they got pumped at home, I'm telling you, City, Liverpool is the best fixture in the country. In entertainment, quality, everything. Narrative,
entertainment, I'm not too sure.
North London Derby.
The North London Derby gives it.
Social media
the North London Derby, the best fixture in the country that never has any meaning.
It's for social media.
It never has any meaning.
For quality, that's why I agree. It's the top, so naturally the quality is going to be better. But I think entertainment.
Do you know?
Maybe as a New Yorker, because you're biased.
What I'll say about your friends.
That's two of my rivals, and I'm saying
what I'll say about your
this.
friends.
And people call me biased.
In recent years, you know when you watch that fixture, it's sort of like, again, I don't want to compare it, but you know when Chelsea Liverpool started, it was like there's no real bad blood here, and then after a while you saw the progression. It was like, hold on, there's a lot of shit here, and it's what that point I made last season when I was talking about when we look at the Premier League era now, it'll be free to see once Liverpool. You can see not the bad blood, but you can see the competitive edge between them. And then Guardiola's his worst losing streak is the Klopp, right? If I'm not, there is from a player's perspective, and a managerial perspective, and in terms of sort of this Manchester Liverpool up north thing, it is a fixture that has definitely in recent times become an actual thing,
Bro,
which makes them, because the Manchester derby is still a thing, but you know when you look at it now, it's like,
yeah, the Manchester derby is good, but United have made it a bit good lately because we've been competing a bit more lately.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that's
not for me.
The competitiveness of City and Liverpool. That's testament that the Manchester derby is sort of like.
The worst one is the Manchester derby. To be honest, ain't as bad. Manchester United and Liverpool is the worst matches. They're always so dry, bro. It's just the tradition behind it. Bro. United, Liverpool, go back to Fergie days, man. There was 0-0s and 1-0s and last minute.
Just because of time, let's go. Is there any other big players that you want to mention? I
saw this great tweet since you were talking about Foden earlier. It said, "Shout out Reams. Reams says still on Twitter, brother." He put out a great tweet. He goes, "City spent 100 mil on Kieran Knightley when they always had the true star boy in their team." Headband man, back-to-back games. Listen, bend it like Beckham. Those who know, brother. Headband man, this dribble cutback. 2 big games now. Looking for the lights are flickering.
We're gonna have to open that.
This is what I said. Bro, it is early. But this is what I said. At the big games, at the big teams, in these big games, it's going to be highlighted even more. Where Villa, you can have one performance every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Cool, we can go on the radio and we can scream Jack Grealish, baller of the year or whatever. At City, one bad game, it gets highlighted. Midweek, he got locked up by Hakimi. Taken to school and shown the levels. Then you come back now against 40-year-old Milner. It's
not even only that. I just think he was just, what did I say last year when I said Kante was running around like Pat Bev? Yeah, that is literally what Jack Grealish. There was points like, are you centre mid? Are you right wing? Are you left wing? Bro, I don't know what you're trying to do.
And I think he's still trying to find his role within Pep's system.
So this is what I wanted to ask. In terms of a player that comes from...
is asking a lot of him. But this is at the top level. This is what I said. You're not going to have the team built around you like Villa.
So for me, for me, it's away from the system. I feel like in terms of just sort of like from profile, sort of just a person, right? You go from being a big fish in a small pond to being,
a cog in the machine.
You're a cog in the machine, a fish amongst other fish. Do you think that he's maybe suffering with the fact that there's loads of people here now, and it's like, okay, it's not that it's not built for you, but you have to kind of fall in line a little bit. Like KDB is not firing.
Yeah.
Like there's it's not like
he ain't got X factor as well.
Who?
Jack Grealish. He ain't got X factor. When it comes to 1v1 beating a man like that, he ain't got that 5-10 yard.
I think you've seen enough of that at Villa to say that he has.
I looked at Villa and I was like, at Villa, you still haven't even shown anything at international European level for me to say you've done X factor things.
Yeah, but X factor is just about how you as a
player. Some of the Grealish players,
like someone like flipping ASM has X factor.
But
let me say.
That's what we're doing.
I don't know.
He has got X factor.
Oh,
I don't know. Do you think?
Don't go down like this, man.
You don't think someone like Zaha has X factor?
I think that
he's got dribbling.
Because you said
that's part of it. Oh, you guys not listening to what I'm saying?
No, but do you know
X factor at the top level?
Okay, because it depends what you're saying. Yeah, but Salah can't do what Zaha does.
No, but what I'm saying is you're saying it's about the application with the thing.
Take on 3, take on 4, drag his team up the pitch. Yeah, of course he did it. He did it today. But that's
and then
you
said it's about application, the consistency.
Exactly. It's about application consistency. For me, listen.
So when ASM does it and then nothing happens, is that still kind of X factor? I'm just trying to...
No. Because, we'll get into that.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Let me learn the For me, with the first and foremost, with the Jack Grealish thing, I agree in terms of every single week it's going to have to be, you're going to have to be on it. on it every single week, which you didn't have to do it as well. You couldn't. As I said last week, you could be the worst player at Villa and probably still be the best player. That's how bad it is. So, but at this level, you're gonna have to do it. And the one thing is that he's gonna learn is Pep way or no way for anyone. We've seen Mahrez go there and be like, hold on, I was the player of the year at Leicester. Like actually one player in the Premier League. What's going on here? Learn your way. We saw, as you mentioned earlier, Jesus. 1 second he wasn't even part of the team. Now he's back in. Then Sterling. What's going on? You dropped form? See you later. Bernardo, you took a while to get into this system. Cancelo, who was saying is world class, where were you for at one point? So everyone is going to have to be programmed or learn the Pep way one way or another. But I do think his start has been decent, in my opinion. Most chances created in the Premier League, 4 goals and assists. But this week, Liverpool, PSG, those are the big games. And it is early for us to expect him to win these games for the team and he's going to carry the team in the back. But you can't drop stinkers. You need
That's
to.
the thing.
You need to. You know what I mean? It's gonna be. It's a learning period, and he's gonna need it.
I think, you said that midweek as well, and I think that's important for him. It's almost like the first time playing at these levels and being expected to perform. I think it's not even a case of delivering the end product and things like that. It's just having presence in the game, because that was the biggest thing we was being told.
It was a Chelsea game. I think he was good.
Grealish
influences games. A lot of people said he didn't want to be in there. There was moments where it was like, oh, like he's causing trouble or like he's causing fear. But who else do you want to talk about this before we go off? You mentioned Bernardo Silva.
Massive block.
Sorry?
That block at the end, Rodri.
That's another person, not in the same vein of what you're talking about, people falling into line and everything, but that's a player that a lot of people writ off.
Last season he stepped up, I felt like improved on the initial year, and he's looking decent, man.
So what? No one going to talk about that KD's dropping back average performances?
Well, we'll get to the negatives. Let's do the positives. Bernardo Silva. Again,
so we don't want to talk about. So we don't care.
No, we'll go. But Bernardo Silva, I just want to mention him quickly because the thing is,
he said something interesting in the cap.
Did he want to leave? Or did he want to get him out the door? I don't know what happened there, but now Bernardo Silva's like, he just looks like a different player.
Hey, potential reason as to why you think Bernardo Silva. Oh yeah, let's say it on camera.
He's in the blood sacrifice. Hey, deep it. When did Bernardo Silva's form drop? When he done the Mendy racism thing, right? When is his form picked up?
What, Mendy's good?
Mendy's gone in bin. Blood sacrifices, man. Blood sacrifices, trust me. Hey, couple calls. Mendy's been doing this and that. All of a sudden, now he's on form, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's funny, but yeah, man. But also, there's one. Nah, I forgot. There was something I wanted to say about the game.
I was going to say Jesus.
Foden. I was going to ask you, do you think that was a penalty? When Foden got clipped?
Yes. Penalty, but then when I looked at the replays, it looked like the contact was just outside the box. So I'm like, I don't know if it's fully.
One thing I'll be concerned about if I was Liverpool, I think they are in terms of when we were their best, when they're their best. Their best came because they were absolutely solid. I think it's a bit, people are getting in behind a little bit too much Liverpool. Obviously, Van Dijk is, he's gonna have to. It's a long recovery process, isn't it? So he's not at the level as he was. No. Will he ever get back to that level? It's hard. He's 30. He's ACL.
It begs the question. It begs the question of two other things though, because you've got Joe Gomez who had injury. You've got
Konate settling in.
Konate's still settling in. You've got sort of makeshift right back stuff going on. How they sort of position that will be interesting. And again, the AFCON thing is still going to be interesting for them as well. Like, look at the form Salah's in. It's a week, but still.
They'll only be
three games.
I
think it's three games. Potential 3 games.
I think Liverpool's about that.
No, but again, it's about coming back into it.
Traveling.
It's about coming back into it. It's about coming back into it. It's not the easiest thing to come back. They don't drop or get malaria one time.
Yeah.
So it's a bit difficult. You know, you can't just go to AFCON, come back like it's cash.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah, because he got Ismail Assar. Anyway.
Do you want to open up? Actually, do you want to talk about KD? Actually, we can start with the talk opening the cases.
No, not yet. Not again.
Okay, cool. Is there anyone that we need to open cases on?
Brendan Rodgers.
Personally, I think there's a few cases here.
Is there any open and shut cases though? That confirmed cases that are done?
I think it's still a little too early. But
new season, new cases.
I think
drop cases. You know what I mean? You know when you
that's
the case.
What's the thing called?
What's the thing called?
NFA. You know when they knock the gavel. Yeah, I know you might have been in court there, but man said the gavel. Yeah, it's not the. Let's go.
New season, new cases.
Please step to the
last ones behind.
Let's go.
So I think the first one I would like to bring to the table, a young brother who I think we all appreciate on the show. We all like him, but this season hasn't started too well, and I think we were expecting a second season jump. Kai Havertz.
That's a solid case.
The case must be brought. This season we were
no COVID.
Talking about young player of the year.
There's no COVID excuse.
We're talking about and what I think is happening is because he's got that Champions League final goal, gets given that blessed grace. Had scored a couple goals for a poor Germany side of the Euros, gets given the grace. New season, my brother. You've got to look at it differently. And he hasn't stepped up.
For him, he needs that. Tell you what the difference is. Werner, for all of his sins and everything, it looks like he's like, I understand where it's gone wrong. This is what I need to do. Yeah. With Havertz, it's still, I know that in terms of naturally, he's very, not lackluster, but he's very sort of like dingy and sort of like, but there needs to be a click moment where it's like, okay, you need to, we play with a system, but we need you to be the guy. That's what we bought you
That's
for.
a double jeopardy. Is in your system. I think the 2 10s, none of your 10s have stepped up this season. Where we expected him, I feel like
Mount is still having a hangover.
Creativity and that movement going forward. I think if one of those 10s steps up, which
you get instant
him
boost.
I'm expecting,
You get instant
you
boost.
pay that money for something.
Yeah, and that's why he has the case against him, because it's like, if you come to the table, we could look like a very different side. So I think that's a fair case. We'll be reviewing the case notes as we go.
Yeah, he's the one.
We'll see what the jury says about that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one. I do think a case needs to be opened up on Leicester. I do think a case needs to be opened, and you know what? Even on Brendan in this case, because
his management of personnel.
There's not even only that. Yeah, you look at the handling. In my opinion, look, Leicester haven't won many games this season. Yeah, they haven't won many games this season, and you look at he started. He hasn't. Today was the first game he started Kelechi.
And it's because it was his birthday.
And he scored. And he scored. One thing that he needs to know is Kelechi and Vardy in 33 games together have scored 32 goals between them. Vardy, I think, has 17. Kelechi has 16. That, at the end of the day, is a dangerous partnership. Why were you moving away from them two as your strikers? A strike partnership, and it's clearly not working out. But obviously, and they bottled it again today.
Do you know what's beautiful about their partnership as well? Like, you see with, I won't say like an evolution of Vardy, but I remember we mentioned it last year. It was like Vardy's not just trying to run off the shoulder; he's trying to go wide to facilitate. That those two understand each other. So, like you said, why break it? For me, the reason why I feel like this case has to be open is because sometimes you have to do comparisons, isn't it? West Ham are also in Europa League. I get they haven't rotated as much. They lost today, but they haven't rotated as much. But they've still kind of gone about their business. And I know they haven't got as hard as a group as Leicester. But what he's done is he's tried to completely change 11s. It's not worked in Europa League. Then he comes back to his stronger 11 in the Premier League, and it's still not working. And they just look lackluster. They don't look at themselves.
Sometimes you can do so much and then hit a ceiling when it's trying to transition. I don't think it takes away how good you are as a manager, but I think sometimes it's just like there's just not that upper. You know what I mean?
You kind of flatline.
Yeah, I think you just flatline.
This season was
Plateau.
That's
what I said.
Plateau.
Uneducated guy, right?
He's the smart one. He's the one that said it.
If you go into the recording, I think she said it twice.
Plateau high.
I just feel like this was maybe going to be the season where Leicester kind of moved away from Vardy. If I'm honest, I thought last season we saw a long drought. You saw Daka coming in. I thought Iheanacho, the back end of last season, the form he was on. I thought, all right, now go to the 2 man. You saw Sumari come in. I thought there was options there.
They cannot replace him.
Second top scorer in the
They cannot replace him
as well. But I'm like, the one thing I loved about certain managers like Fergie, they go ahead of the curve before the decline even happens. All right, you're going to be because Vardy's still going to be impact off the bench. Don't sleep on that. So for me, I just thought there'd be an evolution. You've got the FA Cup, you've got the Community Shield, you've got a Premier under your belt. Let's see something.
Still early in the season. But
Maddison as well. I got a case to open up. You know what? Production. Sub-question! Sub-question! What is happening with James Maddison?
We put this case up bare times.
Yeah, no.
But we have to
get into it properly.
Yeah.
We need to open this.
Yeah.
He started 6 games in the Prem this season out of their 7. 0 goals, 0 assists. He's now not even looked to for Brendan as a key man anymore. Comfortably gets put on the bench when necessary.
Came off the bench
and last season as well. Gareth Southgate this week said, I was close to calling up Smith Rowe. So now Smith Rowe is above you in the England pecking order. Lingard's above you in the order. Saka, Grealish, all these type of guys are above him. He's made 1 cap for England. I think that might have been in like 2019 or something. He's Irish. He might have to. Does he have to start thinking about declaring for Ireland? He's 24
do the reverse of Grealish and
He played in a qualifier.
Huh?
He played in a
How old was he?
qualifier.
How old was
he? Yeah, he was.
Was he about 24?
No, he's 24 now.
If he was 23, he might. If he waits for like 2-3 years, he might be able to.
Because fam, what is going on? Because let's be real. Like he was one of the guys we spoke about: Mount, Grealish, Foden, Maddison. They've blown him out. Let me break this down. He's at a club. He's at a club. Sorry, who you go to Leicester and you progress. You can go elsewhere. Kante, Mahrez. Give me more names. There's other names that
Drink water.
Drink water. Drink water.
Maguire.
Linked. Look what Ndidi's linked with all these players.
Fofana was linked before injuries.
Leicester is the platform for you to go bat it up and do, and then you go to the next level.
So I know what you're saying.
What's going on?
Do you know what for me makes this a bit more damning? What's going on?
I like the way you asked.
Do you know what's a bit more damning for me, right? When I look at English talent this year, a lot of English talent have had sort of Euros hangover. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have that sort of in his Arsenal team and say that's what makes it even a bit more worrying, because it's not that he went away. You probably had time to sort of switch off, analyse what you want to do. And I think what we have to highlight is last season, what we were seeing when he was getting the goals and when he was doing press conferences, we saw a player that seemed like he was growing into his own, and similar to what Declan Rice does for West Ham, and we've been praising it in recent few weeks, made a team his own. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing a
If anything, it's further away from the team.
Last season though, second half, I thought he tailed off after like.
But he was still in and amongst it.
Moments,
you know, when we're not talking about goals and assists. But when we're not away from goals and assists, you could still see a match and be like, okay, he's there. Right now,
put it this way,
he's non-existent.
To mine,
like it's completely
2021.
different.
I can't recall a James Maddison game where I'm like, yo, he bossed that game or whatever. This calendar year, and what I'm looking at Maddison now is I'm thinking he's going through exactly what Dele Alli's been going through the last 2-3 years. And if he's not careful, he's headed down that route where you've made it to the club that's like Spurs were maybe 2-3 years ago, that outside challengers club, and you're kind of seen as a top dog in that dressing room. You were in the England team in and around there, and now you're like 7th choice away from there. And that's that complacency, bro. You get comfortable thinking, yo, I'm the man at this club, no one's going to move, nothing. Bro, football moves quick. You stagnate for a year, 2 years, Somare, Tielemans, and Ndidi, they're all taking over. You're, just as you're saying, you're nowhere near the England.
So let me ask you a quick question.
Another season of that though, now, where does he land?
Well, this is what I want to ask you. Do you feel like
75 mil Arsenal?
This is something. So hold that thought. This is what I wanted to ask you.
75!
So when you look at Delhi, you know there's a point where Delhi was batting it up, and then there was sort of
giving us Dele Alli moments.
No, but hear what I'm saying. In terms of when Delhi was batting it up, there was sort of talks of, you know, he'd go high and everything.
Real Madrid.
Do you feel? Thank you. So you remember what I'm talking about? James Maddison had a little, you know, it was a spell, a longer spell.
He's
talks of standard, this and that. Do you feel that certain players are affected by having this hype come to them and then they can't deliver anymore? And we see it not just in the UK, we see it in other leagues where sort of the players that are like the wonder kids, after a bit, no one cares about you anymore. We go to the next one.
You're not human if you don't, bro. Like those things are going to affect you. When that pressure comes, when you have to deliver, when you're expected to perform, like we're saying with Jack Grealish, that's the difference. When you're expected to now perform at that level, can you do it consistently? Because that's the biggest difference we always say with top quality. Consistency and mentality.
The thing is, like, they were in the Europa last season. Nothing in the Europa either. Like, Europa should be the entry level for European level. Look how Declan Rice is taking to Europa. Like,
goals.
I'm trying to say, but
any more cases?
That's a good case.
So why is there not a case on Endom? Because he's not even doing it in the Europa Conference.
That's not even.
I don't even need to talk.
The Endom cases.
I'm almost close to
Cam, guilty verdict.
Bro, yeah, it's just what I'm saying.
Guilty verdict.
It's a 12-man guilty verdict on that.
The jury's unanimous. They didn't even go away to delegate. They said on the spot.
People trying to like say like, give him a chance.
Listen.
That's me whispering.
Probation.
Yeah. Let's just give him tag. Let's give him tag.
You know
Perjury.
I'm trying to put everyone in his head.
You know the OJ case with the blacks like, no, that's our guy. The blacks will be like, no, you have to support the blacks. No, man, he's going down, bro. He's going down.
Harry Kane is another one.
Oh.
We almost let him get away, and my brother, I'm sorry.
No, because you said the month of August. You said the month of August.
Keep it real. We're 6 games in now, and even today, plenty of chances we had. He had one big chance at the end as well. We're gonna be opening this case. A conference hat-trick. You ain't fooling me, brother. That's 5 goals he's got this season. They'll tell you. 5 goals against studs.
We're wiping it off his history. We're wiping it off.
Well, the same way we took away Arcady's losses.
Bro, that don't count.
Friendly goals.
Yes, that's what we're
Pele, yeah?
You know, that's what I'm saying. You know when Pele playing against the minors and that? Bro, that's what we're going to do, fam. That's what we're going to do.
Real talk. But that is a pending case. Within 1 month, We will be reviewing this
Review
again.
have to open.
Okay, cool.
We will be reviewing this
Looking
again.
at the case.
Let's
like,
quickly. We're saying, look at the notes.
Yeah, what's going on here? Nah, let's
Let's
get
go
into
to this
it.
England team.
Let's
So
get into
I
England
think
team
the
real
main
quick.
sort of headline was the admission of two individuals in which were Bellingham and Greenwood, which Southgate said was because they're carrying heavy load, which I thought was an interesting comment. Which is a fair point, but it's like the question I had was just random. Is that a dig at the managers, or is that sort of bigging up the importance of the player?
Importance of the
Yeah,
player,
importance of the
especially at a young age as well. You don't want to overload them and kill them too much.
But there's a
You
lot
saw-
of players in
you
the
seen
squad
that,
that
you seen
are
that with Mount
important.
early in this season, where he played 60-something games last season, Euros again, and then he's looking exhausted start of
But
this
wouldn't you say that there's a lot of players within? Because is this just a friendly, or is it like the qualifiers?
No, they're qualifiers. They all come
Okay,
qualifiers.
so-
Bellingham's 17.
Mhm.
Bellingham's 17. I get it, man. He's played a
No.
I think
He's not 17 anymore.
17, bro.
He's still. I thought he's
He's
18.
still 17.
You just turned 18.
Bro, we've got Google right here, man.
I swear he just
Yeah.
turned 18.
Mm.
But away from that, Fikayo Tomori's got his call up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Still 18.
He just turned 18. He's
Yeah,
18.
this-
That's why he was drinking the drink when he threw it.
17.
What
was he doing at
So
18?
Tomori.
Hey boy, I don't
Why
know.
yo?
Don't incriminate yourself, please.
Why yo?
I think there's nothing wrong with what he said. I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay, what do you think
I
of the
think-
hype of what people are saying? Because a lot of people are going to.
Yeah, it's going over the top. Obviously, Southgate is one of them ones that he can't do anything right, really.
Yeah,
So
you can't win.
it is what it is. No one. It's an England team calling up 25 players amongst a whole pool of the English nation. Not everyone's going to be happy if you get selected. It's simple as that. You can do a top 10 Premier League list of your best players ever. That no one is ever going to agree,
No.
and no one will ever agree.
You got the list there.
So in terms of I haven't got a list, but in terms of the players that people discussed in the timeline, I think it was where was Tammy, where was Gallagher, where was ESL? Where
Gallagher,
ESL
why
was.
would Gallagher get?
I agree. That was the
Why
point.
would
There's no
Gallagher-
need. There's no rush. But the other interesting
What's
one.
going
He's
on?
under, he's under 21 prime.
What, Tam,
He's an under 21.
how do you think about the Tammy
Yeah.
one? I thought like, man, there's no rush.
Tammy, who got called up instead?
Watkins.
Watkins.
Watkins
Scored
has-
his first
scored
goal
his
of the
first goal
season today.
First
Yeah,
goal today.
that might be out of mind right there. But I think Tammy's been alright, and it's the fact that he's a bit of trying to go for an evolution with himself. So I think it would have been good for Southgate maybe take a closer look at him or whatever, because Kane is not doing his thing. But Kane is always going to play. The only one that I could say is the thing is still for me is like, are you ever going to give Ezri Konsa a debut?
He's
like,
not gonna go.
That's the
He's
only
not
one
gonna go.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the rest of it, I'm good, but
Scott.
it's the fact that he plays alongside Mings, and it's like
He looks better than Mings.
comfortably
He's
better
better
than
than
Mings.
Mings.
But Mings is one of them ones that
Mentality.
No,
out
it's
the man,
5 and
shouting,
left foot.
I
Left
think
foot.
he's just he's got something going for
Yeah.
a minute.
He's
so,
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and
that's
come on, lads. Come on, lads.
Nah,
Yeah,
do you know-
if
do you know-
Maguire's injured, he's
Do you know
come
what
on,
I think
lads.
it is? Yeah, I think people like Mings and that will always get picked because Southgate is comfortable with them.
Yeah.
And if he picks new players, it kind of makes things uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
Mings, they're comfortable
It's
sitting
the
on the bench.
camaraderie.
Yeah.
All of
It's the
those.
camaraderie.
Sometimes some of those
Wanna
people
go
get
be
picked
that.
because the manager knows I don't have to worry about it. He's
Yeah,
comfortable
camaraderie.
being on the bench.
Did you
It's
hear-
not going to cause problems.
You just said now, come and Cody. During the Euros, do you know how many interviews my man did for TalkSport,
Yeah.
ITV,
Just
BBC?
talking about happy about being
Fuck,
there.
yeah, happy. It's a
Well,
great
he
bunch
was
of
my
lads.
best friend from young.
Because then they complain about first team
Right,
football at
right,
international
both
level. Who complains about it first team football at international level?
What do you mean?
Oh,
Neuer.
They really complain
Neuer.
at international level.
Remember Neuer did? He said if he doesn't start playing, he ain't going.
Oh yeah.
Neuer.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, he's gas, though, isn't he? He's gas.
But
And
with,
he's never
with
to
the-
stay.
with the
He
console,
wants to be careful, bro.
with the console, and obviously you man are just locals. Do you reckon that it would be worthwhile Portugal investigating that?
Congo.
Because he's huh?
Congo.
He's Portuguese.
What?
He can do Portugal and
Congo.
Congo.
May's be making stuff up. I
Go
gotta
and check.
verify this, bro.
He can apply for a Portugal passport and do it if he wanted to. It's possible. Go and check.
What they got going on? Ruben Diaz, Pepe is old and that.
Go and
I
check.
mean, that I think.
Do you think it's
I
too
feel
far?
like I think.
You see,
I
I'm not
think.
making up.
For his Angolan mother.
I'll be
Yeah,
real.
because remember they're in
I
cahoots.
think-
That is nuts.
I don't know enough about Portugal. I don't
Dog.
know enough about Portugal
Yo.
centre half to say Ezri Konsa should get called up.
Yeah,
I think that's
Ruben
pretty
Diaz.
biased now.
No. What I was saying
Yeah.
is, I was saying, is it
Yes.
something based on like the limited knowledge that you reckon that they should invest? in?
Pepe started for them in the Euros.
It's like when
Yeah.
did was it the Port one? What's the one that happened recently? Where it was like they waited for a while and they said yeah, we'll investigate it. I don't mean that he goes there and starts, but
yeah, maybe.
I hear it.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about
it's not everyone's cut out for AFCON is what I can say. I have to say that very clear now. Not everyone's cut out for AFCON.
They're still picking Jose Font. No. Call up concept.
Well, he had a good season at Lille.
No. I respect it, but we're playing a 40-year-old and a 38-year-old. Come on, man. Get some young bloods.
All right, cool. You know what? Before we go, let's do champs and duds quickly. We've had some. We'll shout you out in terms of some of the questions we put in there. Actually, some questions, but champs and duds of this week.
My two champs, Andros Townsend, first and foremost. I think lovely guy, old Tottenham boy. The execution on the celebration could be better, but
you know when he synchronized diamond, the form was.
Nah, but you know, Old Trafford got that dip at the corner of the pitch.
He didn't want to go off the edge.
It was.
You didn't realise.
When he jumped, his head went up. It's like
he was actually near the corner flag, innit?
When synchronized diving, when they dive, sometimes the legs and then they spare splash. That's what his legs
too happy.
Yeah.
But I think the remontada this season, him and Damari.
I think he cancelled out his champ by going and asking Ronaldo for his top, and Ronaldo was like, "Get the fuck out my face."
Ronaldo gave it to him
later.
Come on, man.
Ronaldo's a good man. He's a good man.
Ronaldo was just angry.
He's a good man.
What, man? I didn't see on me,
bro. But you gotta do that in the dressing room, man. You can't be begging it in public, bro.
Yeah, I can't. That's it.
That's Spursy.
Yeah, bro.
It's in his DNA.
He should have walked past Ronaldo like.
No, but he tried to sell him. He tapped his back.
He should have tapped him. He should have
tapped his neck. Yeah, he should have tapped his neck.
I think the second one that I say,
anyway, you're lucky he does that one there.
Sheriff win at the Bernabeu midweek.
That goal was insane. That goal was insane.
I think they would have gone under the radar.
Madrid actually might get done of the week. That's two. They lost today as well.
Oh yeah.
Barcelona just done it every week. They just done it every week.
We don't even acknowledge
it. It is. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
They're not believing.
Bro.
Yeah, I know. You got booked.
Bro, it's so hard. But I'm gonna have to give some chumps to some racists. Benucci. Benucci has to get a chump for
midweek. He was locking man up.
He has to get a chump for performance. Suarez. He has to get a listen. Listen,
man.
Let's
for me.
Let's focus on football. Then we'll have to get chumps. And then the guy for I don't want to get his name wrong, but the guy for Wolves.
Hyung Wing. The
Huang.
Yeah.
He has to get a champ.
Yeah.
Because we talk about representation. He scored the brace. He came on.
Scored 2 goals yesterday.
And you know when he was in the Bundesliga, he hadn't scored for like 40-something games.
Huang Chi.
Yeah. This guy, you don't watch ball in other countries, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like just all of that, the fact that they've been struggling for goals, and the fact that we talk about representation for us, but for them, man, that's dope.
Bro, he's gonna take the baton.
Bro, talking to the mic.
He's taking over the baton from Son soon.
What of that? The representation of
South Korea, yeah.
How old is he?
25. He's 25, bro. Yeah, he's not a young G like that. He's 25.
My champs of the week. It's good old club QPR. And I'm gonna shout out Lyndon Dunn. Did you see that? You guys didn't see? Yeah. QPR on attack for the winner. For the winner, my man headed the ball on the floor. He was running, jumped on the floor, headed the ball on the floor. Yes,
no, it was a free ball. It wasn't a blockage. It was a free ball.
So it wasn't even a shot.
No, it was a free ball.
That's agility, you know.
That's real peak championship ball. QPR 2-1 down, flip it in 5 minutes, 3-2 win. We're going up. I told you, man, at the start of the season, we're going up. We're going up. And my dad is, he did well midweek against City, but PSG, man, just got grabbed a little loss. It's Pochettino. For me, it's the M&M, that little front three of M&M.
Had the whole start.
You've got Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar. Yeah, and you can't register a shot on target against Rennes away.
So what do you call
them three?
What do you call them? M&M.
Yeah, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe.
Have you got 2 minutes?
M&M had, and in my last one, my last champ, Verratti. That performance that he put on against City, when he showed KDB, everyone's a controller until a controller steps in the room.
I said,
he's been rinsing that line all week, you know.
When Verratti,
a controller steps in the room.
When Verratti showed people levels, fam.
I've got 2 minutes.
Now go on.
With the PSG thing, but opening the case as well. What they're doing to football is wrong, because when I sat back, Neymar went there for a Champions League. Messi went there for a Champions League. Mbappe's morals, it's a bit, but
No, he's French, man.
No. That's the thing. I can't say that he went there for a Champions League. But what it looks like now is there's a bunch of players here that they just can't be bothered for the league games because it's not what they're there for. It's like the performance against City. They want the better team, but they turned up and everything. You saw something.
Nah, I think they were the better team.
Like, no, City. What I'm saying is City performed well. It's not that they battered City, but in the league they are diabolical, and it's like no one wants to be there. So for that, I'm open the case in PSG. I think they've ruined football. I think their investment was wrong, and I still think it's the worst takeover of all time.
Do you think
what?
The purpose of it was that
the farmer's allegation is true then, because you're saying they don't care because they don't care about the league. So does the league not have the respect then?
Boy, I don't think they respect the league. I don't think they respect the league. Do you see how they perform in the league? Like, go and watch a PSG league.
They're angry when we
they don't
call
perform.
farmers.
No, it's not.
Mbappe wants to be tweeting up Farmers League. What?
But this is why I said that Messi has now signed up to be a part-time footballer. Everyone got offended. He's a part-time. The 75% of the season doesn't matter anymore.
They only care about the Champions League.
And to be fair, they went and brushed City, so yeah, they did well in that 25% of games that matter.
But I won't, if you watch their league performances, it's like you man don't want to be. They might as well play their academy team and then just save them, man, for like load management. Alright, cool. You man play the Champions League games. It's bad. They don't want to be there.
Boy,
but anyway,
you know what? There's gonna soon start. We'll talk soon, but on that Bundesliga, yeah? All of the exports have come from and they're looking a bit funny, fam. They're top exports. Generational talents in Sancho and then Havertz and
Thiago
and Werner and Thiago.
We're saying what the Brexit is a bit.
I gotta address that case, yeah? I mean, international,
hey, before we finish, are we ever gonna open up cases on underrated players? Because Nkunku's been balling this year.
He's
and
not
you
really
know who else
well.
has been balling?
No.
You ain't been watching.
Kareem
Winning penalties every week.
Yeah, he's been. But
you ain't been watching. He's
Listen,
confused. Look at his face.
What the hell?
The Addy everyone is expected. In terms of the German youngsters, yeah, that cut that they're coming through cool. But the reason why the cool one's funny is because there's even small things. Man's scoring free kicks. I said, what's going on, man? Man tried to reinvent himself and that. So yeah, no, but that's not case. Is only for like you only go to court when it's that's not a case. That's sort of a future.
But you got tribunals.
Yeah.
Two funny things I saw Salah trying to take free kicks and Walker. Sorry, that's just had to be funny to me. That's too funny situations.
I'm not
I saw Kyle Walker trying to take free kicks.
On that bombshell, listen, that's another episode. Like, share, subscribe, send in your questions in. International week, innit? We got a little something for you though. So subscribe.
Hey, Thursday there's a special episode.
No, that's not. Hey, don't give away too much. Subscribe. We got a little something special for you, innit? We're gonna look after you during the two specials. Yeah,
two specials this week. So
just stay subscribed.
Turn the notification on.
Exactly.
So you know what? Fresh
STTV.